Hello, friend. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the spell Contagion. There you go.
Well, that was a dramatic reenactment of a 7-day span, because that's how long it takes to do anything.
That's how long it lasts, if it does anything.
That's a big if. So this is a action to cast touch 5th level spell. It's a necromancy spell. Very fun. Verbal somatic components. Its duration is 7 days. Your touch inflicts disease. Make a spell attack against a creature within your reach. On hit, the target is poisoned. The end of each of the poisoned target's turn, it makes a Constitution saving throw. If it succeeds on 3 of these saves, it is no longer poisoned, and the spell ends. If the target fails 3 of these saves, the target is no longer poisoned, but chooses one of the diseases below. The target is subject to the chosen disease for the spell's duration. Since the spell induces a natural disease in its target, any effect that removes a disease or otherwise ameliorate? Is that where we're at? Ameliorate is that word? Ameliorates a disease?
Wait a second. Which one are you looking at?
According to the wiki in Contagion, there's a word. Any effect that would remove a disease or otherwise ameliorates a disease's effects apply to. I'm assuming that's a word I don't know, but Google is free, so I shall Google. Anyway, what's important is, it is a real word. I just learned it right now, and I've read the spell before, apparently. My brain just does wild things. There's basically, you touch somebody, they're poisoned if you successfully touch them. If you fail to touch them, the spell does nothing. That's a bummer. And then after 3 rounds, if they fail 3 in a row, they get a new fun sickness. It's either blinding sickness, filth fever, flesh rot, mind fire, seizure, or slimy doom. And while I do love anything titled slimy doom, I really don't even think it's worth reading more of this spell because of how narrow a window that you're going to be fighting something for more than 3 rounds and have it all 3 fails and hit. All that has to go right. And then you get an additional effect that is worth casting this. It is so bad. It is a 5th level spell to make a touch attack that poisons and does nothing else on cast, and that is atrocious, and there is no reason to ever consider casting this outside of like domestic terrorism.
All right, sorry. I just found the word ameliorate.
Yeah.
In the spell description. I haven't looked it up. I don't know what it means.
To make better or tolerate. Thanks, Merriam-Webster's dictionary.
Well done. You were saying there's no reason to cast this, you're saying?
None whatsoever.
I don't know. I really want to like this spell.
What do you do with it?
All right. You cast it on somebody, then run away and hope it takes effect, and then go fight them later.
And this just for reference,
and hope they don't
anything that cures disease cures this, right? And this is a 5th level spell. So you're affecting something that doesn't have access to lesser restoration while you have 5th level spells that you can't fight right now because you're scared of it.
It's a bear.
You're a 9th level character.
It's a big bear. Dire bear.
This spell's a joke. This spell is unusably bad. This spell is the hottest of hot trash.
Best case scenario, you get 3 rounds of poison damage, and then you get an effect.
And those effects are as robust as it's blind now.
I don't know. I think some of the effects are really good. Like the the one where your skin flesh rot. You get vulnerability to all damage. That's pretty good, isn't it?
After 4 rounds of combat, is it that good?
I mean,
when you use
if you're still fighting, the spell, the combat's probably decided at that point.
Yeah, especially because you made the decision to go touch a thing to attempt to poison it. And again, that's best case scenario. There will be many encounters where it'll pass all of its saves. There'll be many encounters you miss. There'll be many encounters it fails 2 saves, passes 2 saves, and then it's been 5 rounds, and the spell has done nothing but poison a target.
The fight's over by then.
Yeah, there's no world that you want to cast this. And again, that's assuming you cast it the first turn of the combat. If you're in like a wide open battle map and you're like dealing with different sides, and you're a cleric or a druid, and you're like, not necessarily wanting to be on top of them or can't get on top of them in the first round. If you do this on round like 3, absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is completely worthless. At its best, this inconveniences a person for 7 days. That's what it does. Like, none of these kill it. There's Slimy Doom, which is funny, so it stuns the things if they take damage, which is probably the best one. But
yeah,
like,
that's amazing. If if it could happen sooner.
if it could happen within a minute, yeah, sure. You're spending a 5th level spell. You deserve to get something more than the poison condition. This doesn't give you something more than poison condition. I don't want any viewers at home to think it does, because 95% of encounters will be over, or they'll pass out of this before anything meaningful will happen. Contagion is horrendous.
I can't even. I made my best effort before you cast it and run away, and that I knew then that it was stupid, but I wanted to. I don't want to disappoint the viewers.
That's fair. I do think there is some comedy in just like running up to a dragon, slapping its ass, being like, blinding sickness, go! And then just running to sprinting the other direction, or Slimy Doom, being like, all right, everybody, if that went to plan, we can go back in like a day and a half, and it should still have Slimy Doom on it, and then we can kick its ass, right? That is cute. But
then you're giving it a chance. Like, if you give it a day, it's a dragon, it knows some spells, like it's gonna cure that.
Mm-hmm.
You give it 20 minutes, then go back in there and hope it's blind or it's shitting itself or something, or whatever it's doing,
or didn't pass through the Constitution saving throws that it's making.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's particularly egregious on Cleric, because Cleric doesn't have great mobility. At least in the case of Druid, you can do some cute things, right? Where like you run in, you Contagion it, and you go, see a nerd, and you turn into a bird and you sprint the other direction or whatever, right? Like, there could be some cute play patterns there. It's all very memey, and all of it is actively not worth a 5th level spell slot given the fail rate on this thing. This thing is not likely going to work. Especially, again, Lesser Restoration is a 2nd level spell. It mitigates all of this text. And it's readily available to holy casters. So I guess readily available to bards, clerics, druids, paladins, and rangers. So, those are all player characters, granted, but still that means it's a widely accessible spell in terms of like the scope of D&D. So I wouldn't be that surprised to see big bads have solutions to these kinds of problems, which are definitely the targets of the Contagion. But, things that are just like outright immune to a poison or disease, which are like all undead. So
I got nothing else.
Not worth it. 1 out of 5, utter trash. Although Slimy Doom is a great name of a magical disease.
I mean, I like some of these names. I like some of the effects. It's just you're never gonna see them.
Nope.
Flesh rot. I love that.
Sure,
Filth fever.
Who doesn't love some flesh rot?
Blinding sickness. I feel like they should have gone back to the drawing board with that one.
Yeah. Filth fever is pretty good. Although,
Filth
again,
fever's cool.
I do want to, I did kind of skip over them, but I do want to briefly touch on the variation in power level between these conditions. So Filth Fever is disadvantage on strength checks, strength checks, saving throws, and attack rolls, which is basically just being poisoned. Slimy Doom is if you take damage, you're stunned. Like, the difference there is ridiculous. Rough. One of these things doesn't deserve to cost 3 rounds of waiting. Like, what are we doing?
All right. I gotta agree with you. 1 out of 5. I wanna like it, but just it gives you nothing.
A melee spell attack. You have to touch the thing and waste your whole turn doing that.
The touch is by far the least of my concerns. That's fair. The fact that you are never going to see an effect from this is far more concerning.
Yeah, don't put Contagion in character sheet. Easy peasy.
All right. Well, that was Contagion. Once again, we dare you to argue with us. Have you seen this used effectively? Let us know the circumstances. Other than that, thank you, Sam. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Let us know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.